This is an order of merit race, the John Smith's hurdle. It's 3 miles, 1 decent prize money on offer, and 6 of them up for it. And as our guide through the afternoon, paddock side with me, Jim McGrath. Jim, important day for Blackjack.
Yeah, it is, because as you said on the morning line, it's not a pushover, but he should win it if he's at his best. John Joe, I know that there's plenty of confidence behind him. He's worked really well by all accounts. And as you say, this is D-Day, really.
Because he gets the gun put to his head for the first time today, presumably.
Well, if he can't deliver here in the belief that the trainer has him fit and well, then he's not going to do it against better horses later on, is he?
Absolutely not. Let's have a look how they bet. 13-8 on the last show. Blackjack Ketchum, A.P. McCoy. Very much the apple of his eyes. Just 6-4 on shot now. 5's My Turn now. Faasel 15-2. 9-1 Lough, Derg. And continuing nibbles for Crocodile Dundee. 14-1 in from 20s. 40s St Matthew.
Well, we talked about Blackjack Ketchum. What about the remainder of that group? Faasel is the most talented, wearing the red colours with the yellow epaulets, Brian Harding. But he's a bit quirky too. He's got cheek pieces on today, but he's definitely got the ability to shake Blackjack Ketchum up, to say the least. My Turn now had a very good season in novices last year. Represents Charlie Mann, who's already had a big winner this afternoon at Ascot. And Lough Derg, who's likely to make the running, is a decent horse on his day as well.
And calling them at Wetherby this afternoon for us, Stuart Machin.
Jumping away for this John Smith's hurdle, race 2 in the order of merit. And they make their way down to the first of 13 flights they'll encounter in their 3-mile, 1-furlong journey. My Turn now towards the near side with the red cap, disputing it with St Matthew. Both hurdle it fluently in these very, very early stages. Tony McCoy has dropped anchor on Blackjack Ketchum. Spot the white jacket last of the 6-strong field as they race up past the packed enclosures. My Turn now on the near side of St Matthew. They're tracked by Lough Derg with the red headgear, and then back to Crocodile Dundee, the cheek pieces of Faasel and Blackjack Ketchum last as they run into their first turn. Quite a bit of galloping on the flat to be done now before they pick up the first of a line of 3 flights across on the far side of the course. St Matthew and Charles Collier holding the fence here. Lead up narrowly to Dave Cross, red cap on My Turn now. The leading pair stalked by Lough Derg, Tom Scudamore, and then Crocodile Dundee, Dennis O'Regan and Howard Johnson already in the winner's enclosure here this afternoon. Chasing another one with Crocodile Dundee. Faasel, Brian Harding, red jacket back in 5th, and then Blackjack Ketchum and Tony McCoy. Rise at the second. Little to choose between the leading pair of St Matthew and My Turn now. The early exchanges have been brisk enough. They're running now towards the end of 4.5, 5 furlongs, about to pick up at the third. My Turn now on the far side of St Matthew. 2 or 3 lengths to Lough Derg, and then Crocodile Dundee, Faasel and Blackjack Ketchum a length further back. My Turn now picks up just ahead of St Matthew, about a half length between them. Watching the rest take it fluently at the back of the field. Still Blackjack Ketchum under heavy restraint as they meander their way to the final flight over in the Wetherby back straight. My Turn now St Matthew, a couple of lengths up on Lough Derg. Crocodile Dundee inclined to jump out to the right, forfeiting ground. Faasel jumped his way into 4th place, and Blackjack Ketchum last of all. So about to start turning. A long run once more before they encounter the next, and they're heading towards the end of the first third of the contest. And My Turn now, who boasts this record over jumps of 7 from 12, disputing it with St Matthew, 9 times a winner. And then a brief shake of the reins for Lough Derg in 3rd position. Faasel nearest the runner's rail is being shadowed by Crocodile Dundee, and Blackjack Ketchum a couple of lengths away and still under quite tight restraint. Running inside the last 2 miles, shaping up now for the 5th. St Matthew towards the near side. My Turn now. Lough Derg close up in 3rd, hurdled out fluently. 2 or 3 lengths away, Faasel, and then Crocodile Dundee, and still patiently ridden Blackjack Ketchum. Middle one up the straight, 1 circuit virtually completed. My Turn now and St Matthew together. They continue to exchange the lead. This time My Turn now picking up just ahead. A little material change in the order in behind. Lough Derg still chasing the pace. Just Faasel and Crocodile Dundee who've been exchanging places. 4th and 5th, and Blackjack Ketchum in rear as they rise at the 7th. My Turn now through the top. Faasel had a bit of a look there, and Crocodile Dundee out to the right gets a tap down the neck from Dennis O'Regan as they range up to the judge once more. Just under 1.5 miles left to go in the John Smith's hurdle. My Turn Now racing wide of St Matthew. 2 lengths Lough, Derg being kidded and cajoled along to keep him interested. A 3 or 4 length break Faasel up the rail from Crocodile Dundee, and still Blackjack Ketchum waiting in the wings as they make a slight downhill run. So St Matthew given a bold sight from the outset. Those orange silks of owner Keith Nicholson showing brightly out in the autumnal sunshine, leads by a half length to My Turn Now keeping him company, and then Lough, Derg. Crocodile Dundee continues to provide the shadow for Faasel, and 2 lengths Blackjack Ketchum as they make their way across the back straight for the final turn. There'll be about 5 lengths covering the 6-strong field as they range up towards the 8th of the 13 flights, and the pace is now beginning to lift. St Matthew and My Turn Now together from Lough, Derg. Faasel again just in a little bit close. On the far side then Crocodile Dundee and Blackjack Ketchum. Still Tony McCoy got a tight hold of his head as they go towards the middle one down the back. Lough, Derg in the centre, coming to apply pressure to St Matthew, pushed along. My Turn Now still travels well enough on the far side, and Lough, Derg will probably pick up just in front here from My Turn Now. St Matthew becoming outpaced as Faasel and Blackjack Ketchum make headway. Crocodile Dundee just about relegated to last of the field. Final one then down the back, 4 out. Lough, Derg in a bit close there. My Turn Now driven up to mount another challenge. Then Faasel and Blackjack Ketchum making smooth headway, still pulling double. They're beginning to draw away, it would seem, from Crocodile Dundee and St Matthew, who's dropped away. So leaving the back straight behind them, 3/4 of a mile to travel, 3 flights to jump in this John Smith's hurdle. Lough, Derg still niggled along. My Turn Now keeping him company. Couple of lengths Faasel and Blackjack Ketchum inching his way ever closer. They've readily dropped St Matthew and Crocodile Dundee, and heads turned for home. They're about to face the 3rd last. Lough, Derg ridden along in front, so too My Turn Now, Faasel and Blackjack Ketchum poised in behind like a couple of gunslingers. Who'll go for the trigger first? Brian Harding on Faasel or Tony McCoy on Blackjack Ketchum, who's making smooth progress on the near side. Lough, Derg in close 3 out, joined by Faasel on a tight rein. Blackjack Ketchum still waiting in the wings. They've dropped My Turn Now. Faasel on the bridle, has to do it that way. Blackjack Ketchum switched to the right. Faasel in front of the 2nd last. Blackjack Ketchum ranges up. Now both shaken up. Lough, Derg can muster only the 1 pace. Faasel in front. Blackjack Ketchum produced on the far side. Draws alongside. Here's the final flight. Faasel and Blackjack Ketchum as one. Blackjack Ketchum far side. Faasel near side. They'll battle it out with a furlong to gallop on the flat. Blackjack Ketchum, McCoy sitting lower in the saddle. Faasel is brave though. He finds plenty on the near side. He battles back. Blackjack Ketchum by a whisker. Faasel coming again. Shadows of the post. McCoy at his finest. Pulled it out the fire on Blackjack Ketchum. Faasel a gallant effort in 2nd. Lough, Derg back in 3rd. Then St Matthew, My Turn Now and Crocodile Dundee.
Well, Blackjack Ketchum does the business, but hardly impressively. Travelled really well, but when push came to shove against Faasel, there was no sort of conclusive whiz away as you might have wished to hope. But he's back on track, 6-4 on the winner. Blackjack Ketchum beats Faasel in the John Smith's hurdle. And here from 2 out, Jim, I mean, this looked like he was going to absolutely lag up.
Yes, he did. Faasel's a quirky horse. He's a very smart animal on his day. And in terms of what does it mean in lengths and pounds, it's by no means a bad performance, giving him 8 pounds. But I agree, he did look as though he'd win in more decisive fashion than actually proved the case. It turned into a sprint from the last. But if his breathing was really bothering him, I don't think he'd have rallied in the way that he did. Full marks too to Nicky Richards' runner Faasel under Brian Harding, who's run a terrific race as well. Been a real spectacle.